We are so unequivocally,
Lifts.
we are so unequivocally, unrevocably back, you
We are
know?
so back. You're back from the. It sounded like you're a little delayed, but yeah, we're
Huh?
back. We're no, I was just fucking with you. But yeah,
I think we're front.
I think it's been. Yeah, I think we're good.
I think we're
Let me see if
front.
I could see
We're
you
not
now.
back. We're front.
We're front. We're pre-rich, baby. How does it feel?
Oh, I mean, you can smell the sweet simmer of ETH in the morning, or BTC more specifically.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Or if you've been like holding on to Chainlink, that thing's been going ham. Or Solana.
I have not. All I've seen is Chunk Sampson tweet about Chainlink. Like
Dude,
every once
he's
every
like,
like 8 hours, he's like, "Link, bro," and
he's
I'm
like,
like,
what if Link becomes the next XRP?
"Yeah, yeah, yeah."
And it like proceeds to go up like 10% every day.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
No, I had a great conversation with my wife. We're walking to get the mail. I was like, "Hey, this BlackRock ETF might get a bit of a roof. iShares, BTC jumping. Good percentage. Things are feeling good." And she just looked at me. And she was like, "Uh huh, yeah." And it's good. Okay, just take
I
it.
did the same thing. Yeah, I was just like, all right, now here's how it's gonna all happen. It's gonna go Bitcoin and ETH, then it's gonna flow down to the shit coins and mid coins, and then
You see,
eventually they'll take their profits from that back into the NFT
we're really
space.
on an
And
18-month long, market super cycle here, where, the equities market's weak and then the alternative assets follow later, about 18 months. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know shit about shit.
I
But
think it was definitely it was all thanks to Jim Cramer. I think like a week or two ago, he was like, Bitcoin's gonna go down. That was the
inverted Jim
bottom
Cramer,
signal.
100%. Now, that's the thing. It's like the vibes on the timeline are up. I don't
Turning
know.
up.
I don't know if I'll say good quite yet. I'll say they're
Not
up.
good, but they're turning up. Yeah.
I'll say they're up. I'm starting to see some of the attention grifters flow back a little bit. Like, hey, what's up, guys? What's going on here? Hey, I'm like, get out. We don't want you in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I think ultimately more people active is good, no matter for what reasons. I'm happy to see people come around and be active more.
No,
Makes it more fun.
100%. 100%. Yeah. No, it's definitely more fun. Vibes are good. Yeah, I mean, obviously, TGID, TGI Doodles, Ink Tank, we're here. Doodles are up 30% on the week. You know what I'm saying, baby?
Not bad.
I definitely
We didn't sweep our project with $50,000 from our community treasury.
It's true. It's true. We didn't do that. We let other people do that for us, with the flooring protocol.
Moonbirds did. A proposal passed in the Lunar Society to
No
sweep the floor.
way. They swept the floor with their own shit?
And Mythics too.
You love to see
50K,
it.
50K.
You love to see it. They're just following Machi Big Brother,
The incubator would never, though, apparently.
Machi Big Brother walked so the Lunar Society could run,
Yeah. It's not the first time that they've done it. I think they've done it twice. I looked back through their thing. It's interesting. I think also the other element I know that you pointed out is flooring protocol.
Sure. Yeah.
Didn't you say they dropped 60 mil on something? Like, can you explain that a little bit?
So don't quote me here. Even though I tweeted it, so I literally quoted myself. But my impression is that, like, Free Lunch Capital, aka Hemp Capital, I think maybe they're one and the same, had really supported the Bored Ape floor and the Azuki floor for a while by dumping a ton of liquidity, at least in the tens of millions, by just buying up tokens. And that was kind of on Blur. It was this thing. I feel like it was maybe a month or two back where they're like, "Who's this mystery wallet?" They called it the FAF wallet, like, and I think that stood for like Free Lunch Capital or something. And they were just buying tokens, but never dumping them back into bids, right? So everyone's like, who is this person? What are they doing? Then it became clear that they're going to start this flooring protocol, which is essentially a fractionalization protocol. But I think where, which a lot of other people would be like, this is, same old song and dance. We've seen this before. But the difference is that previous fractionalization protocols, I think on like KuCoin and other things, didn't have enough NFTs. I think it's the simple version, right? They're relying on people to deposit NFTs to fractionalize them to create the tokens for those NFTs. But Free Lunch Capital or the Flooring Protocol seeded their fractionalization protocol with tons and tons and tons of NFTs. So they've seen a lot of success. So one that locked up a bunch of floor NFTs to begin with. Now people are depositing additional NFTs. So this just takes NFTs off the floor like times 2, if that makes sense, from the seeding of the original plus additional NFTs in the protocol.
And did something like, was there like a straw that broke the camel's back that made this occur? Or was it just them like putting it on Twitter saying like, coming soon?
I think it's just right place, right time. Like he was basically the savior of floors via Blur. You know what I mean? Just a huge whale that was just holding tons and tons of NFTs. And then basically rebranding, you know what I mean? Like, hey, here's fractionalization all over again, but from this time from the makers of Big Whale Time. Like it just was right,
Sure.
right place, right time. People, under maybe people who had traditionally been only NFT exposed got kind of more shitcoin exposed via Blur, via Friendtech. Maybe they're more comfortable with these kind of things. And so when Flooring Protocol comes along and go, hey, you deposit NFT, you get 1 million U tokens or whatever. I don't know the exact ratio. People are like, oh, okay, that makes sense. We can now trade fractionalized tokens of our NFTs. Okay, so maybe it's just right place, right time.
So are they using the NFTs as just collateral for these tokens, essentially?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's
Oh,
essentially how you describe fractionalization protocols.
okay.
So you deposit.
Uh,
There's 2 different versions. You can deposit one. I think it's called like in the safe box. One's in a vault. I don't know if they have a different risk profile or something. But then you can trade the U tokens like U Doodles, U Bored Apes, U whatever, on any decentralized exchange.
Okay, nice. I'll have to read into it a little bit more. I have seen it on the timeline.
I think there's probably
And
a farming component to it at this point as well. Like you'll get additional. I think they have their own token, the FLC token, I believe, which is the Flooring Protocol token. So you can gain that as well.
nice. We love to do a little bit of farming. And speaking of farming,
Speaking of
did you
farming,
did you see the new Doodles animation slideshow? What do you want to call it?
it's an animation. It's an animation,
And
or as they call
yeah,
it, like a snackable animation, or whatever the term is.
yeah. I'd say it's like 5 or 6 different pictures on a slideshow.
Now, here's the weird part, right? So 2 parts. One, so we've seen the different animations come for Instagram and Twitter, right? That kind of like delineation of different form factors, right? The 9x16 or whatever, and the 4x4 or whatever, the square.
Yep.
This obviously had an expanded version for Instagram, which had more imagery, which I won't say we've come to expect, because some of them have been like they use a lot of blank space to enable the cropping, right? So it's essentially the same animation, whether it's on Instagram or Twitter. This one had full pieces of the illustration that were just on Instagram. And then they also used a different song for Instagram versus Twitter. It was the Office theme song or a karaoke version on Instagram, and then something seemingly original for Twitter. So that was really interesting to see the differences in content there.
I didn't notice that. I stay pretty natively on Twitter and don't check. I guess that's the only place that I really check Doodles things. I used to do it more when I was like, what the hell is the team doing? I'd like look at the other team members to try
Yeah.
to say, or, like check LinkedIn. Like, what the fuck? Somebody got hired on LinkedIn?
There's a networking night at camp. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm pretty like uni channel for Doodles content, but that's a good eye. Good.
And then Bert
Good.
Toast commented like, "When will floor grow up?" or something. Like that was a legendary comment. Everyone's like, "What, dude? This is awesome."
But it was cool. I like them a lot. I like the one with there's one of him like on Hap on a lawnmower with a cowboy hat.
Okay, yeah.
And that was why I said, "How's it going, farmers?" Because I just
thought about
screenshotted that.
deriving the roller coaster one and just using that whenever I go to Disney. So it's definitely on my mind.
That's good. Yeah, I think that what I saw from them, it was cool. Like, right, they just basically put Hap and Mellow in the same location, frozen, and then just change the backgrounds. So those would make really good community derivatives. I thought. I was like, oh, these are good scenes because they're all so different. I liked it. We got to see a little bit more of the
Yeah.
the doodle verse.
It's interesting. You hear a lot about, doodles is like we're telling a story. And then some people are like, you're not telling a story. Like there's just different worlds. I think if you kind of can read between the lines a little bit, you're starting to see a little bit of this story emerge. If I had to, put my little storyteller hat on, essentially this juxtaposition of Doodle World in Dullsville, right? And I think that's kind of, we saw some of that with like the candle animation, like burning the candle down. This one, I think it was called like, it wasn't called Working for the Weekend, but it had that vibe to
Day
it.
in, day out.
Day in, day out. Yeah. So it had that kind of vibe. And so you're starting to see this juxtaposition of Dullsville and Doodle World, and Hap obviously can use the rainbow portal, whether that's his imagination, whether that's a real thing, is the kind of bridge between those two things. And so I think that's the story that's
so let's be fair. The story right now is fucking abstract, right?
Yes.
You really have got to try to pull it together. I don't think that it will always be that abstract, maybe
Sure.
is the only other word I'll use. I think it will become more concrete. It will make more sense. There will be like a narrative to it.
Sure.
I think right now, obviously, it's just piecemeal, and but it's kind of fun, right? I guess, like in terms of speculating.
Well,
obviously, like getting a little more meat on the bones will be nice.
I think we can kind of get a sense for it, like from camp, is essentially Hap and Mello are residents of Dullsville, right? Hap peers into his own imagination through his inventions that he creates. He's an inventor, right? These are all the wearables that we've seen. And then at some point he opens
a modern day Da Vinci of sorts,
if you will. And obviously from a storytelling device, from a branding device, this allows them to go down any rabbit hole because essentially the world is his oyster, right? His imagination. He can create anything with his bare hands. He's an inventor. It's a great storytelling device, to be fair. But then he, opens up a portal to Doodle World, and that's what really taps into the rest of the story, right? That's what gives us the aliens with the crash site in Doodle World, right? That introduces that alien species. Then we have, the flower forest that introduces the flower species. You have all these other species being introduced. And so it is intentional. You can read the writing on the wall of how they plan to introduce these different characters, these different species, these different concepts. But to be fair, it's, it is abstract for now. But if you look hard enough.
So is Doodle World like the Galapagos Islands, and we're like Charles Darwin?
Where things have just evolved like crazy,
and we're just gonna have to start writing them down so that people can make sense of them.
Yeah,
I do think that one thing we've yet to see in like in comparison to Azuki, for example, is there is some like written lore in Azuki's
for Azuki
defense.
Yeah,
on their website there is like a little bit. Like I think if I were a person going on to Doodle's website that was like a camp attendee or whatever, someone that got exposure to the brand, that's not going to web3.doodles.app. That's just going to Doodle's website. Or, like Crapopolis, that one that's with the Fox News Studio. There is on a lot of those websites, they kind of like enter you into the story.
I will tell you,
like it gives you that frame.
I'll tell you that. And this is just, once again, putting on my storyteller cap. So I know nothing more than the average Joe in regards to this. It would seem like to me that that's very intentional. Doodles is a very visual brand. It's meant to be felt. It's meant to be experienced. I didn't fucking know the names of all these rooms at camp. I had to like pull it out of Mackenzie, right? I'm like, what is that? I'm like, oh, that's the crash site. No, they don't care. They're not going to call it the crash site. They're not going to call it the flower forest. They basically have names for identification alone, right? And maybe for, internal communications, the only words that we know from Doodles is like Doodle World, Dullsville, Hap, Mellow. Like those are the only words we know, right?
I guess if you went to Doodle Putt, there's like all the holes had names.
Sure.
But they were more just like you said, geographic zones, if you want to say.
You think about, you mentioned Azuki, that's anime, that's manga, that's comics, that's words, that's narrative, that's written, right? It's meant to be experienced in that way. Doodles is not meant to be experienced that way. That's why they're these snackable shorts on social media. It's meant to be experienced, currently, right? But you can experience it without language, purely visually on social media that makes it worldwide, quickly too, if that makes sense. You don't have to process, you can feel it.
So you're telling me that the alpha is the next time we get a doodle sesh or whatever, that people maybe shouldn't try to be. I don't know. I feel like if there was something we tried to gain, would be to understand a little bit more about the story, the universe, what the hell is going on there. They've got to have some kind of grip on like a general summary arc of what we're imposing on, because everybody's always like, when are we gonna get fucking fanny packs? Like, when are we gonna go an event? And it's just like, okay, do you really think they're gonna like product fucking launch on this Twitter space right now?
I mean, if you
I
want
highly
to,
doubt it.
I think if you sat down, you could get a good idea for the story and where it's going. That's what I'm saying. You can already get a sense for that kind of stuff. If you sat down, put it on paper, took a look and sat with it, you would get an idea of where it's going, where all the characters are connected, how it works, what are the physics, what are the rules of this universe, what are the not rules of this universe. It's all there, to be fair.
In the tea leaves, as you always say.
In the tea leaves. That's what I'm saying. We essentially got walked through the story of Doodles at camp.
Hmm.
That's it. Everything else is just little branches, little minutia off that. They gave us the story arc. You have Hap and Mello who are in Dolesville, right? And then they break through because of their dull life, right? You know what I mean? Which is obviously an analogy for like
So
existence and yada yada.
yeah, so let's just I guess before I reset the room, I do want to just think about this a little bit. Did you ever watch Phineas and Ferb?
Yes, but not enough to like speak
So
to
like
it with authority.
the simple bit of Phineas and Ferb, right? It's like they're these kids, they're hanging out in their backyard, right?
Okay.
And whatever, they just do whatever kids do. They just hang out. And they have a platypus that is like a secret agent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he is just looks like some normal little platypus, and then he like goes off for the day and like fights crime and
Yeah.
like all these things, right? So like they experience, the kids like experience these like fantastical quests or whatever.
Sure.
And then like the mom comes home from the grocery store and is like, oh hey kids, and like they're just out there just being kids, right? So I'm wondering, thinking about like Hap and Mellow as a TV show, if that beginning in camp, is it like, are they always just going to be like, oh, I'm trying to get my thing working, portal, and then we pop to somewhere new? Or do you know what I mean? Like if that's going to be really key to the origin of this show, or if it's just
yes, right. And that's where you have to be. I was listening to a podcast, and so that now makes me an expert, of course. About with Luke and Nets, he was talking about how carefully you have to choose your main characters and things like that. And that's what I'm saying is like, I don't think they'll have to rediscover the portal every time, right? Like, I don't think that's what you're saying, but they've created these storytelling devices that they can use to launch new stories, right? Like new wearables, new inventions from Hap, and then anything is possible in the Doodle world. Kind of like Adventure Time, right? Every episode an adventure, and they can go off and they experience fantastical things, and there's a seemingly unlimited universe, which gives them unlimited stories to tell.
like, okay, maybe again, did you watch Big Bang Theory?
Yes, but not enough to like.
Okay, but do you know the intro? Do you know the intro to the Big Bang Theory?
Nope.
Oh fuck! You need to watch it on the trailer. So like the concept, right? A Big Bang Theory. You know what that is, right? It's like the fact that the universe was created 13 billion years ago by something that went like
sure.
All quantum physics and shit aside. So the idea is the intro to the show is basically talking about the inception of time.
Okay.
Right? Like how we got there, and then boom, whatever, you enter into a sitcom.
Okay.
And that's what happens every time. So I am wondering, right? Like what I'm looking forward to and excited about is when we get like the trailer to this show.
Sure.
Like the one that is every single time. Like shows have intros.
Right.
But Phil of the Future.
What I'm saying is
Wizards of Waverly Place.
You have the vibe to that trailer already. You don't need the trailer.
Sure.
You know where it's going. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know where it's going. Right? Maybe they can do one of the two things. They can explore Dolesville and have problems in Dolesville, or they go straight to Doodle World, and then anything is possible. anything is possible. There's any combination of species of doodles, places they could go, inventions they could try to use, or mishaps. That's why, his name is Hap. It's like happenstance, right? They set him up to be this clumsy inventor so he could open up this portal by accident. He could have an invention and then it goes off by accident. It's like there's unlimited vehicles they could use.
I'm just curious, again, I'm just going to speculate a little bit more. I just want to say, yo, what's good, Burry? I wonder if it's going to be like, how in Family Guy or South Park, like some of it is like really set in the real world. Like there's actual like real characters, and we've seen them do Pharrell as a doodle. Yep. And Julian has mentioned before about bringing other people into the universe, like as celebrity cameos.
100%.
So I'm wondering like how much of this is going to be based on like pop culture stuff, and then just completely like, I've never watched Rick and Morty. Is Rick and Morty like, is it keyed in? Like, do they break that wall of talking about pop culture, or is it like just completely make believe? Like,
you know what? I've watched a decent amount of Rick and Morty, but I can't remember right now because I always felt like, oh, okay, this is smart comedy, but I never was like it's current. But I will say, you can think about The Simpsons, South Park, Family Guy,
Futurama, yeah,
all of them involve current pop culture, right? And they introduce them, and Ingy has made the comparison to Simpsons, so you could certainly introduce celebrities in the doodle world, but I think in a way, I would think that what you'll probably won't see is hyper current events with people and things like that, because I think doodle world is like supposed to be removed, right? So it's coloring the world with joy, right? And so it's like, what would happen if this person, this persona maybe entered this world? But I imagine you probably won't see a lot of current commentary.
Yeah, and again, I'll do one more before I let Burry go off. I don't mean it. I'm just like on a little bit of a run.
Sure.
So I'm thinking back to that trailer we got, the OG Golden Wolf trailer of the Duplicator.
Okay. Yep.
You know that one where he's walking around with a duplicator like a backpack.
Yep.
And he's like turning everything colorful.
Right.
Right. And Doodle's whole thing is coloring the world with joy.
Right.
So I think right now we're thinking of it like as it's like this place you can teleport to, right? Or I also feel like when we were at camp, there was something about like him maybe not knowing where he's going or having trouble, like whatever. There's having some mechanical problems.
Yeah, that's a good call out, right? It's so the initial portal was an accident, right? But you turn around, you kind of weaponize, you harness that, you Doc-Ock the portal, if you will, and then you get a duplicator, which maybe bridges Doodle World into Dullsville, right? He gets to bring
or what if what if there's like this way, or him or them, let's just have them.
Sure.
Let me do that. I keep trying to call him a dude. But what if that was his thing that he was doing, right? He was like kind of going to places and bringing that, thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like the interplay of like him like having trouble trying to make things happy because life is hard.
Yep. No, that's
because Julian always says like they're gonna tell real stories,
that's what I'm saying is go Doodle World, whole storytelling avenue here, but also can, like you said, using the duplicator, which is a great call out. I can't believe I didn't think of it, can bring that back into Dullsville. Right. So you could tell real stories. People are resonating with more kind of realistic stories. Bluey has experienced a lot of success. Bluey can be really heavy and like parents enjoy it. People are learning life lessons. I think people are kind of maybe responding better to more realistic, connectable content. But we'll shut up. Burry. Speak the truth.
Okay. So I had to pop up when you guys started talking about the Big Bang Theory. And while I do love the fucking reference of the intro in the trailer, which hopefully does exist out there somewhere, I will just have to say, dude, time might be a circle, dude. And what already is Doodles already was Doodles, and the future of Doodles is now.
It always has been, brother.
Like, thank you. You did it.
Burry just said the glory be of Doodles. He was like, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, in a world without Doodles. Amen.
Yo, Lips, we're streaming live on YouTube. Do we have that link possibly?
Yes, I will or I tweeted it out. If you don't mind
Okay,
scooping it,
then I'll share it. Yeah.
noise. Mr. 8270, GMGM.
Yo, G Mello, how are you guys?
Hey, we're
Long chair, don't care.
We're just storytelling over here.
Yeah, I was just chilling, enjoying the theorizing, and you guys are next level. I'm kind of like I see Hap, I see Mello. I'm happy.
Nice.
You don't want to
No.
know what's next?
We got to use our imagination. I feel like that's the whole
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing.
thing. Yeah.
No, but to be fair, that's exactly what we're talking about, right? Is that it can be felt in a moment, or it can be felt as a longer experience. That's why the social media content has been probably pretty successful. I was playing cards the other night using the Doodle deck, which I was saying I think is one of the most slept on pieces of gear from the camp capsule, because it's got a bunch of original Burn Toast artwork that's really different from anything else that you got. And we're just playing cards with my in-laws, and I just like had more fun. Like it was just like put more of a smile on my face because the king was Hap or the queen.
Wait,
was,
what were you playing? I looked at your cards and I couldn't figure out.
Oh,
what
we were
you
playing
guys
this game
playing.
called 31. It's not, I didn't make it up. My in-laws taught it to me. So you got to get 31 points, same suit. That's the whole game.
Yeah,
It kinda
goldfish.
sounds like some sort of like rummy alternative. Is it like one deck of cards?
Yeah, one deck of cards. Yeah, you got it. It could be a rummy
Is it a
alternative.
Trick-based game?
A turn-based game, like a TCG.
Trick-based, like Rook or any of those types of games.
Like euchre
Nope.
or like
No,
spades.
no
or hearts
tricks
or whatever.
here. Just drawing and
Tricks are for
discarding.
kids.
Just drawing and discarding. That's it. It's a simple game. But yeah.
Super cool.
Super cool.
So that brings me up to recall I saw this post by Digital earlier today,
Ooh, yes.
who is in New York, that went by the camp store, and it turns out that the Doodles camp merch is in all of the camp stores across the U.S.
Turns out it's got that national distro. Very
That's
cool.
pretty interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously, go ahead.
Speaking of camp merch, and an 8270s here, so we're gonna hash this out right now.
Oh boy.
The Mellow plush, the old one. Come on.
I know, it's
Get
so
it.
good.
Oh
and now
my.
no one else can get it. Lift. This is what you got. Like, does the other one look fuzzier and like softer? Sure.
And more
yes, it
anatomically
does.
correct. Yes.
Well, yeah. Who knows? Cats come in all different shapes and sizes. And you know what? Maybe Mello was just feeling a little off that day. But here's the thing. To me, it's like I'm more of like the vintage. I like vintage.
I respect
like
the
old school
OG
stuff.
vintage collector value. I totally respect it.
Dude,
And
82
that's-
wants that fucking that's so vintage that it turns into yellow mellow, dude.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. And
already yellow mellow.
here's the thing. We don't even know how big that other Mellow is. Like that. I wish I knew.
No, someone put a comparison photo side by side. It's definitely smaller, which I didn't realize at first. I would have liked it to have been the same size as the OG, but it's definitely smaller. Probably
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Probably about half the size.
Let's go. OG Mellow for the win. Everyone who wants the smaller Mellow that looks softer, they're just
They're just
you
soft.
know, it's sometimes it's about the soul, right?
It's about the
Mellow's
quality.
soul is
It's like a
just the heart.
scratchy wool blanket. It doesn't feel great, but you know that it's gonna last like 100 years.
I have a Mellow right beside me, actually, an OG one, mind you. Well, one of those sold out ones that no one else can get. It is impeccable. Like it truly is. I don't know what you're upset about, Lift. It's so good.
Its face is wrong. Okay, it's wrong.
Yo, you know what we really need to invest in? I think Manubis needs to make a Mellow versus Hello Kitty like celebrity deathmatch
Ooh.
claymation.
Oh, claymation, just like the old
Or like
deathmatch?
to have the AI do it at least, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I love that idea. Actually, that's great.
And I'm just spitballing it.
Hmm.
That's
No.
interesting.
I will say that like the head shape is a little bit off to me. which is fine. I mean, and I'm just like, someone fucked with me about this because I was messing, and maybe I'm just hyper particular or something like
Symmetry Maxi.
that. Well, and I was messing with some folks about the color of the camp merchandise, and someone was like, "Are we floating colors now?" And because the green is off, maybe because Dude Lives is green, so I wouldn't know, but the green is off. It's the wrong green. Just saying.
You could be the best asset for Doodles, or you could be their worst nightmare.
It's not their fault. I actually feel sympathy for them because I know how much of a pain in the ass it is to print that green, because every print house uses CMYK and the green is meant to be in the RGB profile, so it prints incorrectly. So they're just kind of fucked. So
We're talking apples and oranges in terms of greens here, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Burry knows you're green. You're a green doodle. You get it.
I get it, dude.
get
Yeah,
it.
man.
You get it,
Sometimes you
dude.
just can't put them together.
You just can't be.
1 and 1 sometimes is 3.
Yeah.
Actually, do you want to hear something funny?
What?
True story. I don't know. I think it was you actually, dude. This I was kind of dogging the vinyls. I was like, man, this stupid as hell. That dumb as hell. That dumb's cheap as stupid as hell. And then I got suckered into one at camp, and I got one. I was like, this is cool. And then I bid on one on StockX, and now I got the original one. And then someone posted in Discord, hey, I got the Zen one. So I was like, let me get that.
Oh, you cop the Zen one?
I Zened up.
Damn.
Super Zen, dude. So yeah, that's exciting in my life.
Dude, speaking of OG, like 82 was saying, OG value, I have the holographic one, and I love that it has a hollow sticker. It says first vinyl. And I'm like, that gets me. I just walk by it and I'm like, yes, love that.
Yo, Aton.
Aton gets the green struggle. Aton gets the green
Aton,
struggle.
we need to catch up.
What's up?
Actually,
What's
82's
up?
up here, dude. Let's answer all the questions at one time on Live Spaces.
What's going on? What's going on, dudes?
Yo.
I don't know if you're on our live stream, but I just got your stickers and I'm gonna open them.
Ooh, a little preview, little preview.
Yeah.
Woo!
Let's do it.
Let's see what's going on.
Well,
I go ahead.
I would say while you're busting those out, Burry, you reminded me talking about 3D. There's some chatter going on in one of the group chats about I'm trying to get there's a company who got all 10,000 doodles made it in their 3D models. So I'm trying to acquire those, kind of like
Komoko Labs.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, let me get all the files because you're not using them. But they're actually really good 3D quality renders, because we're talking about maybe we could get some kind of 3D printer set up and start churning out, custom vinyls. Just saying.
It's an interesting thing, and when you start to really think about it, if the incubator put out an RFP for a ragtag team of freaking wildebeests, and we just invested in a sick fucking printer, and we somehow tied it into D2. You have a ship fulfillment, customize your D2 at camp, whatever XYZ thing. Boom.
Oh.
You like the picture, you like the sticker, boom. You want the vinyl, dude? Hit the button, fucking in-house ships.
Oh,
that's what
I
I'm
didn't
saying.
even think about that. You're crazy, bro. Damn. Now we got to get the right green filament though, or else I will fuck.
Obviously, dude.
I will
Source
fuck.
all the fucking.
All right. We're talking cam. We're fudding mellow. We're fudding the green, and we haven't even talked thousands. Well, what was the phrase?
Thousands every week.
Thousands every week.
Oh,
Let's
thousands every week.
go.
Thousands every week seeing the wrong green. No, I'm just kidding. No, that is awesome. Oh, Tony, yeah, that's a great looking sticker. That's awesome,
Dude, these stickers are thick.
dude. Yeah,
These are some eggshells.
Aton doesn't mess around when it comes to the stickers. They're quality. They stand up to the weather of New York.
Dude York.
Dude
York City.
Spooky Dude York. Okay, but going back to what 82 was saying about the thousands of attendees, yeah, that's super exciting. And I love that all the studio data is being recorded, that using hybrid custody, we can, create some wallets for these folks someday. That's super exciting. Looking forward to that a lot. Now,
I had to read it a second time because I'm like, there's no way that it's thousands of attendees per week in Chicago. And I'm like, no, snap, it is.
I think either Mackenzie or Squinch said that it was outperforming some of their traditional IPs, which I thought was really cool, really impressive.
I got my coworker some tickets to go. So he actually had his wife go with the kid and one of
Nice.
her friends, but they like super loved it and had a great time, and they had high praises to say. So that felt good to be like, hey, check this out. And they were like, that was dope. And I was like, thank you.
Well, okay, just sorry. Just
On board or
while my head is turning about this. So we just a few people on stage, Tony included, maybe some others participated in the Peace beta or Create a Peace beta from West Coast NFT. And that was my first experience with Flow NFT hybrid custody. And it could not have been easier, especially for a product that's like super in beta. And so if people could claim their doodles too and all the associated wearables as easy as that, I mean, damn. It'll be
yeah, no, I
smooth
agree.
sailing.
Yeah. Yeah, as long the fact it's able to spin up a wallet with your social media account.
Well, they
It's
might
just
they
like,
might
you
be able to
know,
tie it to an email. I think you could essentially tie it to anything, right?
sure, like a Gmail would
Yeah.
work
So
too.
the email that they're receiving it on, they could just be like, "Hey, this is your wallet now," until you say otherwise. Basically,
Like even like a Century Link or like a MSN.
AOL,
Would
AOL.com.
support those as well. Yeah.
There are disqualifying emails that don't work.
I'm asking for a friend. You know what I'm saying? My job is to ask the questions.
Yeah, Hotmail or Proton Mail for those who are more anon inclined.
Let's
Bang.
go. That was
Oh,
cool,
dude,
John.
you just
Dang.
I knew that you were gonna say something.
82.
All right.
I got your back. I'm looking out for you. I have my Dapper wallet approved for account linking, which I'm going to set up to my Flow reference wallet. I'm going to try to claim my pieces from that. So that should be legit.
Wait, Dude Lives, what are you doing for the voiceover?
So someone named it Hey Flaw, Cool Cats PFP 1. So they haven't messaged me back yet, but when they do, we'll cook. So
Oh, my alt got it. Nice.
stupid. Good news to
Wait,
me. Sick.
now that the chair's up here, dude, and why don't you go back to that chair, PFP, so we can call you chair for a minute? But Ethan was talking to me about questions about insurance for events.
Oh,
And the stuff I ran, I mean, like Cubs game, it was like ticket's a ticket. The golf thing, I had people sign a waiver, which you would have had to do as you were any person going in. Same thing with the boat; it was part of the ticket that they had included. But like the question to him, or he was having, was, you know, what was his kind of insurance requirements, and I was trying to figure out, like, is this a private event that they're putting on for us, or is this something that every single other person would go through that would have to sign off on some sort of waiver to come in? And I don't know if there's anything in place, but if there isn't, I would think it would make sense to have Sarah or the Wizards of the legal team whip up like a standard waiver agreement that you could, you know, attach to some sort of ticketing thing that would, you know, check the box legally
oh,
to continue to put events on a reoccurring basis. You know what I'm saying?
dude, that's
Like integrated into token
that,
proof.
well, no, that's a really good idea because a lot.
Token proof, or like what's the other one? Like, what do we just use? Ticket Fly
Well,
or something?
a lot
There's
of
ton
places-
them out
Right.
there.
A lot of
Yeah, the
places
token
when
proof would be
I was
awesome.
running my youth group events, if I rented a venue, they would require, I think that there's some term they call it like a 250, which I think it's like $2 million and then 250,000 something policy, like commercial insurance policy. So if Doodles had one, and I think part of that, you can always make someone else an agent, even permanently or temporarily, because people might need those policies to host events. But I don't know if the incubator should be responsible for that. I don't know, but it's an option.
I'm just saying, just let's just make like an opt out thing, so it just waives everyone's
82,
you know,
please.
liability. Yeah.
Yes, tell us the ways.
All right. Yeah, this is actually something I was talking to Eitan about it today. And one thing that we haven't done a phenomenal job at is, so this is something that has always been in the events guidelines document on the incubator website, where down, I think it was page 11 on that document, it talks about how community events are to get a certificate of insurance that obviously it can be through the venue, it can be through the proposal lead, it can be through a variety of different things, but it has to have Doodles LLC named on it as well. So this is one thing that's kind of always been there, but it's gotten buried a little bit. So
Buried.
this is one thing that we're, yeah, exactly. So I've been talking to Sarah, I've been talking to Mushy, I've been talking to Aton, to try to figure out a thing that is obviously compliant and checks all the boxes and whatnot, that to protect everyone involved and whatnot. But we want to make it like a smooth process as well. So anyways, I can't speak anything beyond that, but it's something that came up, and there were lots of conversations about it today.
On-chain insurance products. Let's go.
Brought to you by Sassy Labs
Oh,
or something like that.
ooh.
I don't know. They've been
I
doing
don't
a
know
lot
if
of
that
legal
one
stuff on
works for
chain.
that one, dude.
Yeah, I'm tired of speaking of insurance. You guys want to see what Art Dude whipped up for me?
Yep. Let's do it.
Let's see, dude.
Back to the fun stuff.
Yeah. Should I just post it or how do I just show it? I
Yeah,
can
so
put pictures
You
on.
can share it to the top if you've tweeted it out already, or you can
No, I haven't tweeted it,
put
but
it in the comments,
Do it.
and then Tony can.
You
do
could put
it
in
to
the
top.
comments on the space, and then you could delete it after if you're just trying to
Is that
sneak
secret
peek it.
sauce.
yeah, hold on. Where's the space thing? All right, yeah, you guys continue the convo. Let me do it.
Oh yeah, I guess let's go back to insurance really quick.
Nice.
No, this is actually something I have to talk about insurance. Like, for what it's worth, some just transparency surrounded my commercial experiment. I've yet to sign the contract. I've been working with Sarah, and they're like, oh my gosh, we've never done like a consumable related thing with Doodles before, so they're just basically like cooking it up, and I had to like figure out how to do insurance because people could get sick eating food and stuff like that.
Oh,
So I definitely
What's the policy you got to get?
we just like
curious.
I got a quote from a place and I just pitched it to them. So as long as when I get the contract, I'm just gonna have to see like what the requirements are.
now
Did you talk to any other people like that are at those like markets to see what they put on theirs?
Yeah, so technically, like it depends what kind of business you use. So like some of them use commercial kitchens, for example. So commercial kitchens require you to have an insurance policy to use them. But as a cottage food business like I'm doing, you kind of just like, just don't throw cyanide in there and you're okay.
What's the threshold that pushes you over cottage to commercial?
Depends where you produce it.
1 pure gram of cyanide. Oh, sorry.
Where you produce it?
So cottage is like in home. Commercial is like at a facility
Leased
that can
commercial
be
property.
yeah,
has
that can be
whatever
like
regulations covered. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But essentially like they're just trying to cover their bases and they're like, yeah, we don't care you're doing it in the kitchen. Like if somebody gets
And
sick.
keep in mind, it's in Texas, so pretty much anything,
Texas,
anything
yeah.
goes.
Yeah. We still like, walk around with revolvers on our waist and do duels and stuff outside.
If you had a full blown factory in your backyard, it'd be like, yeah, it's a cottage. So cottage business.
Yo,
So-
Aton, let's go.
Ooh, post that ish to the top. But speaking of Tony's products making people sick, I don't know anything about that, but I got a little sneak preview of some of the perspective recipes, and they look sick. I was actually blown away. I was like, oh, those look like so good. Like I was blown away. So flowers to Tony. Whatever comes out of that kitchen is going to be.
Thank you. Yeah.
top
Yeah.
shelf.
Yeah. I've been doing recipe testing and all that sort of stuff. So I'll be coming out with like some sneak peeks of that. But dude, these duffel bags, what the
Ooh.
lit?
Ooh, I'm gonna do a little zoom in for
Oh.
our viewers here. Oh my!
Dude,
Oh,
these are
Are
dope.
these gonna be a t-shirt? These gonna be a t-shirt? Hey, Tom. Sticker dude. Was he gone? He's just gonna drop
he-
that and leave.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
he
my!
dropped that link and dropped the mic.
That was.
Dude, you know what that's called? It's called suspense, dude.
I mean, yes,
The Irish
I feel.
exit.
I feel.
Those
suspended.
are sweet, dude. Those are cool. They turn out very well.
Dude, that
Um,
artwork is sick.
Dude, the jack-o'-lantern with the double eye. Yeah. Loving that.
I mean, Art Dude, whenever he gets to work, I mean, I just had a vision, and the man, like, I love him, man. And I was just working on it. So awesome.
Art dude was in his bag making
And then-
that bag.
And then 2 for 1. Then a couple days later, when it's Halloween, if you want to go just put a bunch of candy on it, boom, you have a 2 for 1. 2-for-1.
Oh, I forgot you got the bell. That's great, dude. I love it.
Man, I need one of those now.
I know.
82 has one too. And you
So-
just hear like
we'll get it.
shovels
We'll get it,
across the house.
Tony. We'll get it. We'll get it all cooked up. It might be digital, but we'll get it cooked up.
Wait, what if that was a piece of merch? Like, you know how Alchemy engraves stuff? What if we did like he sold engraved
He sold
bells
bells?
with people's
Don't,
PFPs
Tony,
on them?
Tony, don't talk anymore.
Oh, okay.
And now from a word from our
Busted.
sponsors, Colgate toothpaste.
Dude,
You
also,
ever tried to
don't
put
use Colgate,
toothpaste
bro.
back in a
Hella
tube?
Doodles
fucking-
toothpaste.
Takes a
Color,
long
Shit
time.
get crystallized
color your
up,
teeth
you know,
with
it's some
joy.
shit.
Soiled it.
But Aton, how do we get a T-shirt of that picture?
I
What-
owe you stickers.
What do we have to
so-
do?
I mean, I already owe you stickers from like maybe almost a year from that giveaway. So like, I could just print you a shirt and just send that to you, and we could call it even.
Dude, maybe.
Maybe,
that's-
yeah. What
that's
about
some good
inflation, dude?
interest.
Sticker inflation,
What if,
dude.
what if we cook? What if we do a little print on demand? You know, on a little drop shoulder heavyweight tee. Make this thing legit. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm printing all these bags right now behind me. Like right now, the heat press pumping. It's like so hot in my room.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Oh,
That
you're
sounds
doing
dude,
heat
that
press
sounds
on those?
great.
They kind of look almost like they're what's the is it like, oh you can see it a little bit now,
Sublimated?
yeah.
Direct to
No,
garment.
not sublimated.
They are sublimated.
Well, they're sublimated with that like the paste thing on
you talking
it,
about
with
like
the press on it.
DTG or like
No, that's what you do with the paint.
Screen printing?
Dum dum right now. Screen printing, yeah.
No, I'll make a video about how I just made the whole thing tonight. I'm like recording and shit. So
yeah, give us a
probably
little
at, like,
give us a little
2
BTS.
a.m. Yeah. Like 2 a.m. You'll see a video or something.
Nice. That's awesome. Okay,
So,
so
how many days are we out from the vent?
This
2,
Thursday. This Thursday. Thursday night, I'm
Yo.
so excited. I can't wait to scare the shit out of everybody. I toured the place a few times. Like, you are not ready. Like, I almost peed my pants.
wait, are you gonna be
Yeah, dude.
are you gonna be an actor or are you still gonna be with everybody? Oh, he
I
can't
don't want to
say.
like. I could. I talked to the owner. Like, I could put on some makeup and like I don't know. I'm just thinking about it.
Whoa.
Coming along.
Whoa.
You're gonna have. It's gonna be a good time. Everyone's gonna get scared.
I just had the stupidest idea of all time. I was like, well, there's haunted houses. What if there was like the opposite? That was like Doodles. And it was like, you know, so
Happy
so
house.
joyful, right? And then I was like, that's camp. Okay. I'll see myself out. Sick.
Happy house sounds like an opium den.
True. Or
That's
copium.
not nearly as nice.
Everyone's real sleepy.
Yeah.
Going to Doodle World.
Nah, guys.
nah.
That's not the move. No.
Nah. Kid-friendly brand. Kid-friendly brand.
So are you encouraging people like, so if you had like a message out there that you were like, hey, people that are going to be in New York City for the haunted house event, like, are they supposed to wear costumes? Like, is there any, dress code? What's the deal?
Definitely have pants on. Definitely have shirts on. We
Cool,
definitely
cool,
want
cool,
that.
cool.
There's
Why?
no
No
force.
shoes, no
Wait,
shirt,
why?
no
What's the
service.
why? Can you explain
Yeah.
why?
No force for costume. Obviously, it's encouraged. You're gonna feel the vibe, but
You could cosplay as your doodle.
I wish that. Yeah. If I
Wow,
had more time,
dude.
I thought about that. I'm like, I need to order a pink hoodie. I'm like,
Dude, Amazon 2 days, baby. Just
hold on.
saying.
let me
That would
check.
be cool.
Get that
We
pink
should
bucket hat.
do an incubator proposal to fly out that guy. What's his name? That German guy that always dresses up like people.
Oh wait, love make GM or whatever.
Lovemake.eth. Yeah.
The GM king.
We could hire him to go as 8270s monkey.
Oh, or the pickle. That was a classic when he dressed
Dude,
up like
send
the
him as the
pickle.
chair, dude.
As the cherry.
Oh my gosh.
That would be funny.
Like it'd be like, what is it? Not Borat. What's the other one? Bruno. Where there's like the scene where
Bruno.
yeah, where there's like sitting, make him sit.
He's
people
like,
sit in his
"I'm the
chair,
chair,
some
I'm the
shit." Who's
chair,
yeah,
King
who's
the
the lady
castle.
that she has? Like Paula Abdul or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Stupid, dude. That's dumb. If it's fake, good job. They fooled me, but that was fun.
I'll get that proposal submitted right away.
Yeah, it's like that gif of the cat just like slapping around, like his hands on the keyboard. It's like what I always use, like when I think of Jeremy writing an article, doing the same thing.
It's probably accurate.
Hey, wait, hold on. I have a question. 82. So John's proposal, like I know it didn't make its way. I was
In Gmine.
sad to see that happen because it looked like a cool thing. Was that strictly just like on the optics of the things? Just like that is an actual rule. I know it was like kind of discussed going forward, right? Like, so if you're on the council, you can't submit or have an active proposal going on. Is that? Can you explain that?
Yeah, so I can break down some of the timeline. There's obviously some things I can't discuss, like contracts and stuff like that. But one thing that I can say, so I know like John had been working on this proposal for quite some time, but we were trying to get through a backlog of other proposals, and we were going to discuss it at our Tuesday meeting, but we ran out of time. So I had asked John, do you mind if we push your proposal till next week, and then we'll discuss it as council and decide on from there on? And so that was the plan. So then the next Tuesday, we brought it up, and I invited John to kind of pitch the proposal to the council, just kind of break it down. So he spent a couple minutes on that, and then he left the call. And at that point, the rest of the remaining council members, which is the four of us, we discussed the proposal, went back and forth, and there were concerns that council members had. It would have been, I think, the largest proposal passed. So then the optics of that coming from a council member having the largest proposal that passed. So there's that optic of it. So anyways, and there were other things, other concerns and whatnot, and we wanted clarity on stuff. So at that meeting, we had decided that we're going to table it because we're not ready to vote on it. And then within an hour or two after it was tabled, it was disqualified. One of the team members came in and just brought in clarity as well. And at that point, then it was just, I don't know if dead on arrival is too harsh for it, but essentially it was disqualified, and we never did vote on it as a council. And this was kind of a topic that I know Dude Lifts and I had talked about it. I forget what the platform was, whether it was a Twitter Spaces or whether it was Discord. Can't totally remember, but it was kind of like this. I considered it gray area. I had already decided that I wasn't going to submit a proposal while I was on council, just purely for optics. And the issue is like, I trust all the council members that are on right now. They're all great individuals, but you can't always guarantee that every council member is going to not have a conflict of interest that they're going to try to take advantage of. So there needs to be process and protocol in place. And so this was it. It was kind of this thing where some council members had some opinions, other council members had other opinions, and then but then John had submitted his proposal, and then when we had the opportunity to discuss it, just very quickly after we discussed it, this was disqualified. And John was very accepting of it. I reached out to him and kind of apologized because it's brutal for him. And it's not like John was trying, right? John wasn't trying to take advantage of any situation or anything. He was just really excited to get a community event built around ComplexCon. But anyways, I think it's important to have protocols like this in place. And there's a few different things that happened along the way, which made it an even more unfortunate circumstance, like delaying it till the next week.
So the short and skinny is that this proposal led to a new policy that says council members cannot make proposals while they're actively on the council.
I wouldn't say new policy, but definitely clarity brought.
Gotcha.
That would be fair.
Gotcha.
Hey, 82. Are you a trailer park boys guy?
No.
Dude, you're Canadian, bro. You have to be. Come on.
No, that's Letterkenny, dude. Is
dude.
Trailer Park Boys in Canada
Trailer
too?
Park Boys is Canadian as well. That's the way she goes.
I will. Yeah, in 82, I think I was looking through the think tank chat earlier today, and it seemed like you did a pretty good job outlining there as well. If anybody kind of wants to follow along or see it in text, it was pretty well illuminated. Don't know the right word, but you did a good
Yeah,
job.
and it's like it's unfortunate. Like I feel bad about the whole situation. And obviously as chair, I feel partially responsible for it. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't beat yourself up over it. Honestly, like it's just like part of the growing pains, you know, like again, just to look back at it, to think of like all the stuff that the incubator's actually done up to this point. I'm pretty impressed the amount of stuff that's happened, and just the fact, you know, like in whatever under 6 months, all these like, you know, things that actually work. It's great. So obviously, you know, you just gotta adapt. It's gonna adapt. It's gonna change over time.
Well, and sometimes this is kind of an opinion that I've seen, or at least maybe this is how it appears from the outside, but some things just won't be dealt with until they have to be dealt with, if that makes sense. So you can try to look around the corner and try to predict for a bunch of different outcomes. I think y'all have done a pretty good job of doing that with just a lot of the different structures in place, but some stuff just won't be dealt with until it needs to be, if that makes sense. Like you said, this provided clarity. I think about just like Noop's proposal, for example. We've been talking about treasury management for God knows how long for the Doodle Bank, but now it's on paper, if that makes sense. Like, okay, cool. Someone proposed it. So now it's an actual thing that has to be probably addressed in some context. So I imagine this is similar as well. Like we would have had this discussion if any council member had inevitably put in a proposal at some point, but now the clarity just needed to be brought. Does that kind of make sense? Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, I would say that's reasonable. And like again, I'll just be transparent in that there was differing opinions on council. I mean, clearly there were differing opinions on council, different interpretations, I guess, and whatnot. But yeah, and then this happened, and now a lot of clarity is brought. And now I don't know if there's, I don't think anyone really has many questions about whether a council member can submit a proposal or not now,
Sure.
right? Because
Yep.
now it's just kind of been, it's been
It
very
is
public now, and people
decided.
know. So
Now,
Would you say in a future it would be punted down the road potentially?
that would be for the team and whatnot, probably to decide. And like, if I could be totally transparent, I was at the point where I'm like, you know what, maybe I do submit a proposal, because I mean, we're obviously working on the incubator. I have all these different ideas in my head, and I could do them as RFPs, but there's stuff that I'm really excited about that I would like to try to deliver on personally. So those are kind of ideas that I thought, well, I'll just wait till I'm no longer on council. But then I was like, maybe I just submit one. But so like I wish there's parts of me that wishes I could submit a proposal even while I'm a council member. But again, like we have to think beyond just this term and this group of individuals. Like what happens when there's however many council members that get on and they take advantage of the Doodle Bank. And yes, you always have the team veto, but you shouldn't necessarily just solely rely on the team veto. There should be processes in place to protect the bank and protect the community funds.
Are you making like a 3-tiered system, dude? A judge? Are we gonna have like an
executive
a dude of representatives?
I wanna-
are we gonna have like the Senate dude?
Jury duty.
The Supreme Court. Okay, but speaking about future versions of the council and like protecting, creating a more trustless system, will that policy be put on paper somewhere so that 3, 4, or 5 generations down the line, once we're all not talking about it anymore, like will that be readily available in some kind of documentation?
One thing that I would say is Mushy and I have been we've been having our Monday meetings. Angie had some fun with that today, but we've been having our meetings every Monday to discuss things like this. And that's when I say like we're cleaning up loose ends or tying up loose ends, there's a lot of stuff like when it was just chaos. To provide a little bit of a window into the incubator and getting it all set up, it was like all hands on deck to get this thing launched. And then once it was launched, we had like an insane amount of proposals. So it was just trying to process stuff because these proposals had deadlines and all that. So now that things have kind of started to slow down and that now that my term is winding down, Mushy and I have been going through almost on a daily basis, like, okay, what's the process with this? Okay, is that documented anywhere? It is. Okay, where is it documented? And just try to gather all of that information so that for the upcoming council and for the future council members, it's all just very documented and everything's laid out.
Airtight.
Yeah.
Now,
But it just takes time to get to that point.
and I guess like I know you have a space with Tree coming up on Thursday, right? So maybe you're going to answer there, but are you guys aware at all of how the off or like the review of you guys goes, or like is the incubator going to be like turned off for a period of time there?
I do know, but I don't think I'm going to speak to it.
Gotcha.
But
Oh,
there
At
no.
least
is
you
a
guys
lot-
are aware. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
And
when are we
there's a
gonna
lot of-
find out?
Oh, well, that's not for me to decide. But there's a lot of postmortem that's going on, and so all of us council members are also going to have like an interview with one of the team members to kind of express how we felt like it went, the good, the bad, the ugly, all that stuff. So yeah, but yeah, there is. I just don't think it's my place to speak to it, but there is stuff that's being worked on right now.
Word.
Noise.
When is your guys' last? When does it end up?
It was a 6-month term, and we started beginning of May. But we'll be working a handful of days into November.
So get in or sit on the sidelines till season 2.
Pardon me.
Like if there's going to be a moratorium period and there's going to be some sort of like, it sounds like to-do list question, or is there going to be like a stopping point, right, of things being reviewed and moved forward?
Oh.
Like, is it like, should you get in if you have an idea to, like, if you don't want to wait until the next batch of leadership has moved on?
You guys are really trying to paint me into a corner here.
Well,
Dude, I'm just being
I
transparent.
see what
bro.
you're
This
saying,
is
Burry,
back to
because like
transparency 101.
because
Now would be a good opportunity if you had a proposal to drop one in.
there's
I think
offboarding,
That's
there's
what I'm
TLDR.
onboarding. I see what you're saying, Burry.
And I don't know all the details of how the transition would work and what it would look like. I
Sure.
know some of it, but like that's why I don't really want to speak to it. I don't have all of the information. I have an idea, but
Give
yeah,
alpha. It's not even alpha. It's just give admin. Give
but
admin.
I think like a really thing that we're focused on right now is like to figure out and to have me, and that's going on right now. So it's not going to happen at the end of our term. To answer your question, Burry, it's like the postmortem stuff has already begun, where whether it's a meeting with Mushy or Austin or whoever, one of the team members, where we just talk about what went bad, what went good, break down the roles, kind of everything that's happened during the term. And then the team is going to evaluate and make decisions accordingly. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited for whoever gets an opportunity to serve on the next term, because I think one thing that we were tasked with getting it all set up, and there was a handful of months where we were just trying to get the thing operational, and there was a lot of like, I don't know if heavy weeks would be the right word for it, but just like a lot of technical stuff. So now for the council that's coming in following, the goal is that they have decent structure set up, obviously still going to be built on top of, but like decent structure where they can get right to getting proposals launched and passed and all that. So
Get some D
Okay,
stretch.
82.
Experience at every time.
I don't want to paint you into a corner, but I want you to paint yourself out of a corner.
I want you to mop yourself
Two,
into the
for
kitchen.
season 2, what does success look like for you?
for season 2, bro, for me,
Yeah, dude.
I'm just finishing this term. That's all I know.
Who's flicking the lighter?
Is that a Zippo?
I'm playing with a Zippo. All right.
Nice. Nice.
Dude, get this guy a fidget spinner still, dude.
How do you
He's
guys
so
wait?
fun.
How do you guys know that's a Zippo?
Because we're American. The unmistakable sound of that dial going against the flint, that's America right there.
That ain't no big flick.
That's
I'll tell
no
you
Bic,
that
yeah.
much for
It's
sure.
a standard issue World War II ration Zippo.
I got to be honest with you guys. I probably shouldn't admit it, but I brought this across the border and I even forgot to claim it, which is really unfortunate.
Wow.
So yeah, Canadian
Wow.
border
Lucky you're not
services.
doxxed,
Well,
bro.
see,
You're
luckily
so-
you're in luck because America, we're cool with exporting our culture permissionlessly everywhere else.
Let's
So
go. Yeah, I was going through my bags once I got back home and I thought, oh shoot, I forgot about this.
Bitcoin, ETH, a Zippo. Oh,
Could you imagine in a near distant future when you have to declare how much Bitcoin you have in your wallet when you're going through? fucking
okay,
things?
speaking of that, just as a aside, as a good crypto citizen here, if you look at my tweets or if you look at the Stand with Crypto account, there is a thing because the IRS is actually, this is for all Americans, the IRS is trying to put a bill forward or some policy or whatever. I don't know exactly the correct term, but basically the IRS is they learned how to check the chain, and they're trying to tax everything on chain in a way that's, you know, unrivaled in fiat, basically, because you can't do it in fiat. So if you're not into that, go to Stand with Crypto. They have a really cool website where you can go select what your interest in crypto is and how aggressive you want to be with your message. It will use AI to generate a message, which you can send directly to
Fucking
regulators on their
right.
website. So
Send me that shit, dude. I will repost. the
I'll
fuck out of
I'll pin
that.
it. I'll pin it to the top. I'll pin it to the top. But I'm sorry, 82, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I'm curious. So term 2 is coming around. Are any of you guys thinking of applying? Or have you guys given it much thought?
Well, I mean, dude, variable situations. You know what I'm saying? I be cooking, dog.
that's an interesting situation. You'd have to see what positions are not filled, right?
So can people run for re-up? And when is this seems like politics, dude, but also
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you can. So there aren't term limits. So just like the watch was able to reapply, I guess, to be elected. That's one thing I can share. We are able to reapply if we so choose. But yeah. So none
well,
of you
give
guys
us
are
the
thinking
spill
about
the tea, dude. Who's fucking re-upping? What's opening? You know, you got to be the whip.
I feel like
Move
that's
the people.
that's part of this post-mortem thing
Mm-hmm.
that he's not going to tell us about.
But I did
Which I
post that to
understand.
the top for anybody who's inclined. Sorry to interrupt, but Stand with Crypto.
Thank you.
But this is the Ink Tank episode number 13. If anybody wants to join the conversation, feel free to join up on stage. I think we should talk about some proposals, though.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
I want to talk. Wait, what are you and FOMO, Tony? You and FOMO are cooking up something delicious. I want to hear more about
Cooking.
that.
Oh, FOMO's like pretty, to say the least, plugged in the food industry. So, yeah, he's gonna help like guide me along building a food business. Homie to homie. So yeah, I just was talking to him all about all stuff Chef Tony's GF related. He got me thinking. He got a lot of gears turning in relation to that. I'm also working with Charles, King Charles, dude. So I'm tapping some talent in here. So yeah, I'm
Tony,
assembling a
Can I ask
team.
you a question.
Yeah.
So one thing I was talking to Mushy about is kind of like progress reports coming from commercial experiments and whatnot.
Yep.
And is this something that you would be interested in to provide an update out to the community? And when do you feel like you would have a meaningful update to share with people?
Give progress.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. I was thinking of doing like at least just like a simple thing, like a monthly space or something, at least like on that cadence. It's like every month. Like as I've yet to get dispersed funds, I'm still doing stuff. You know what I mean? Let's be fair. But like when I get the money, it'll be better. But I think like on every month would probably make sense. But when I'm actually doing the experiment, I don't know. I don't know on cadence, but if you just gave me some kind of template, I would do it.
Okay, perfect, excellent. I'll reach out to you at some point.
Yeah,
Word.
because Tony, obviously you'd be willing to host a space. You're probably willing to post pictures, things like that. You know what I mean? You're,
I'm
docs
building
present.
a brand, dude.
Yeah, bro. But some people that may not be their thing. So I think thinking
Their
about
MO.
ways that they can report their progress, and then the council, should they choose to forward that back out to the community or not,
Yeah, no, I'd be curious to see like how they want to distribute it, but I think that's good because like you're saying, I mean, just in general, like as good as a DM is back and forth to people, you should kind of want to have some kind of accountability in place.
Yeah, and I think like we're just trying to bring or set up structure where there's, I don't know if more reporting in place, but just so that the community can find out. Because right now what's been happening is like you find out let's say an event has passed, the event happens, you see a couple pictures on the timeline, but that's about it. But we'd like to get a little bit more information out to the community to show whether the event was successful or not, or where it could have been gone better. And anyways, so and same with commercial experiments. And I think commercial experiments, that's one thing I'm really excited about is like Toastico and with what you're cooking up. I think the community would like to be able to follow along and like see the progress of, okay, so what does this look like as a commercial experiment? And then hopefully it stokes some imagination in other holders to be able to think, you know what, I want to try something like this.
So 82, let me ask you a question. As a council member, what is defined as success from a commercial experiment
in season 2
from Tony's product? Yeah, I mean,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
you're in season 2,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? No, but like, what is success? So like, hey, I'm Chef Tony. I made this thing, and these are the results. Now, do you pitch that back to the incubator and say, is this something you want to go forward with? Like, what does that process look like?
Yeah, so basically they would all start essentially as commercial experiments. And I think one thing that we want to stress to people is that some experiments do fail. So it's not that like every commercial experiment has to be successful. Obviously, the more successful experiments that we have, the better. But it's just an unrealistic expectation that every experiment's going to, like, an experiment is an experiment. So we see if there's demand for it. If there is demand for it, and if it's successful, meaning like, let's say all of a sudden Tony's selling out of his gluten-free treats and he's meeting his metrics and all that stuff, or close to meeting his targets, then at that point, after the commercial experiment, he could pitch it and say, okay, I want to run this to incubation. And incubation is essentially something that would follow a commercial experiment. And then that's where the funding thresholds are higher. And but obviously then maybe there's rev share built in and all that stuff. So incubation would be more like a business plan of sorts, whereas a commercial experiment is you got this idea and you want to see if there's legs to it.
So just directly to that question, Burry, I think once I sign the contract, I meet with Eyal and he will define my metrics for success. So like I have like an idea and I've like got some advice from advisors, but he's going to go ahead and say like, all right, this is what we're going to measure and how we're going to define it.
Right. And I'm just thinking, what do we call it? Inked in? Or we're kicking around?
Inked in. That's Scripto.
So
what's up, Scripto?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. So,
Hello,
so
hello.
what I'm saying is like, okay, say you figure out a couple things, right? Like, who is the people measuring to be like, like the sentiment is good, the sales, like you could easily whittle down on the cost side of things, right? But then you get into like distribution and getting plugged into the right places for marketing. Like, is there like going to be a spot where it's like, maybe this isn't a successful experiment, but we think you could be, lacking in these areas, and then like, is there an opportunity for people that are within the community to, kind of partner up with that second gen proposal to get into try to take another whack at it to tighten things up? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or am I just rambling?
I think you're spot on. And what I would hope that the council does in the future is that it's just like that the council works alongside those who are submitting proposals and executing proposals, to take the lessons and then work with, like, so if you submitted a proposal, a commercial experiment, and maybe it didn't hit quite like you were hoping to, but there was some potential behind it. My hope would be that the council gets together with you, figures out kind of the tweaks that could be made to make it more successful, and then maybe run another experiment to see, or move it on to incubation. Like the big thing with the commercial experiments is just to protect some of the funding from, like, a lot of startups fail, unfortunately. So one thing we didn't want is where these holders will come and they submit all these, grand ideas.
Yeah,
and
you
they're
want to just
requesting.
you want to be able to fund a piece of it, not the whole
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. But then if it is like successful, or if the council feels like there's legs to it, I mean, I can speak for the current council. Now, who knows about the second council, but the current council is very eager. Like we want to get some incubations out. But unfortunately, first we have to see commercial experiments, and those take time to get out and test and see. But I mean, we're eager to fund some of these business ideas.
So if this was potentially Pokemon Go and I had a 10-kilometer egg to incubate, and I was like, dang, I should start incubating that bitch boosted so I can get it cracked before season 2, 82. Where you at, season 2? Let me know the juice. Come on, spill the tea. Obviously,
Burry,
you don't
just
play
make the
Pokemon
proposal
Go.
already, okay? We know you're
I
just sitting
can't.
on an egg.
Burry's like,
here's the
what
thing.
I
if?
just want to know how it works. That's all.
What I would say, Burry, is if you do have a proposal that you're kind of ready to submit, then I would say go ahead and submit it
Tonight.
One thing that I would say is that I think sometimes people rush their proposals because they just want to get something out there. And I'll give props to Chef Tony. When we received his proposal, it was very well, and his proposal is a commercial experiment. So understand, like, a pizza party maybe doesn't require as much detail as a commercial experiment. But when we were reading through Tony's proposal, I mean, I remember thinking, snap, this is well thought out. He laid out a lot of the details. And he obviously put a lot of work into it. So that just makes the council's role easier versus if I have an idea and I'm just so excited to get it to the incubator. So I submit like a half-baked idea.
Yeah, what you're saying is don't put shit in, dude. Do your fucking due diligence. Not do your own research. Like, do your own self a favor.
Well,
and put the details
I'll
in there.
I'll say maybe what 8270 can't say. You know?
Yeah,
no,
say it.
No, I mean, there's some part of it. Like, I watched Tony work on his proposal, incredibly intentional. We've been a part of working with the Doodle Bank for a long, long time. It is abundantly clear that some people putting in proposals don't read other proposals. They don't look around, and see what some of the tone, the tenor, the things that you want to say are, and that's just clear, right? And so I would, if I'm making a proposal, I'd look at Chef Tony's proposal, right? Be like, hey, this is a well thought out proposal that obviously got funded. Follow success. You know what I mean? Like, so take a look at that. There are reasons for that.
Big shout out to Dude Lifts. I couldn't have done that without you. You definitely super helped with that a lot. I greatly appreciate you.
Well, and I think, like, even to that point, there's I know the incubator.doodles.app website isn't perfect. I understand there's things that should be sorted out. But on that website, there's a bunch of guidelines. There's things that you kind of have to follow and abide by. And sometimes it'll be funny because we'll get a proposal submitted and it's just very clear that they didn't read any of the documentation. And I'm not saying it's all on the individual submitting the proposal. Some of it's on us, as we didn't make it as accessible as maybe it should be, or as easy to access, or whatever, like front page, boom, there you go. Yep. So I think, like, one thing is just dig around on the incubator website. If you're wanting to submit an event, go read the events guidelines. if you want to submit a commercial experiment, go understand what we're looking for in a commercial experiment. If you're wanting to do an incubation, just know we're going to ask you to do a commercial experiment first. Like, there's multiple proposals that we've gotten. And actually, a perfect example, and this is with Depengster, and we've worked closely with Depengster, but the initial proposal for Inc. 42 was, I think the ask was $96,000 or something
candles?
like that.
Is this the candles?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, this is the candles. So the initial ask was for close to $100,000.
Basically 1 million pennies.
And we, as a council, we were discussing it, and we thought, like, well, what's we'll reach out to them and find maybe this is something that they're very comfortable in and they're able to execute this, no questions. They have a track record of sales, all this stuff. So we reached out to them and just asked for some more information, and we got some of that information. And then we reached out to Depengster and said, you know what, I think that this would be best as a commercial experiment. So they resubmitted the proposal, or amended Inc. 42 to be an $8,000 ask. Now, when that proposal came in, it was all like, for the council, it was almost like a no-brainer, because we were already excited about this commercial experiment, but we just weren't comfortable with necessarily $100,000 experiment on it. So basically, if you want to do a commercial experiment, scale it down as much as possible, because we're just wanting to see if it has legs.
You got
Tony-
that MOQ MVP.
So what you're
That's
saying
what you're
is
saying.
submit a 6-figure proposal, then a week later submit
Exactly.
four-figure
No,
proposal.
so like when Tony submitted his proposal, and I saw the ask, I think it's 3,900 if I remember correctly. I'm trying to keep all the proposals.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's very reasonable for a commercial experiment. It's like, it's probably enough for him to be able to test it out, and it's not going to break the doodle bank. And it's, or what did I just call this thing? The incubator. Apologies.
RIP.
So for us, it's like, that's a reasonable commercial experiment. Let's see if it has legs. And we're okay. Like, if hopefully Tony's is successful, but if it's not, we're going to not hold it over Tony's head and be like, remember that commercial experiment that failed? Like, we want to empower Tony to try ideas and see if they're successful. And then if they are, or if it has legs.
Do you know how many
proceed with
founders fail forward from like Y Combinator and like all these bullshits? Like, yeah, Tony will be just fine. He's a good builder.
Yeah, exactly.
I did see a comment on our space here, and I thought it was really interesting. They were saying if Tony is required to put out monthly reports, why isn't Doodles? but I think
who said that?
That's a
just
deep cut.
I'd like to report a murder. But I think we're all Doodles. Hey, we're all Doodles here.
911, what's your emergency?
I just ran across a dead body. I don't know what to do. But what I will say, this is interesting, because I think this actually, maybe it's a nothing burger, maybe it's not, but maybe we can have some interesting discussion about it, is with this incubator, with the Doodle Watch, with everything. Like, I feel like we have put transparency as paramount as we can, critical eyes on everything. I mean, I know when I ran for the Doodle Watch, I had someone, from Trinidad run up in my old messages and say, this one time you said you were going to do this one thing, and he crucified me. And I'm not saying that he wasn't justified in doing so.
Dude, I love it. When he does.
But I'm just saying that we have this level of transparency and expectation of a critical eye and things like that on each other into the incubator. But it doesn't, I don't know, does that scale all the way up? Like, I don't know. There's just something interesting there. I think there's probably some truth in there.
Do you remember when I was hating you for that stupid badge idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back on badges, dude.
Nice. Back on the badges.
Here's the thing. I think everyone probably has to report to someone, right? Like, at the end of the day, there probably is reporting going on. And I mean, I'm not going to speak for Doodles LLC or whatnot. One thing I will say is that I feel like they've definitely improved. Would I love to see more Doodle sessions? Of course. I enjoy them just like you all do. But I think like they're probably truthfully is some reporting going on, but just maybe not to the degens. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so sorry. You're 100% right. Yeah, not that I think everyone's like running around with their chickens with their heads cut off or anything. It was more about like this attitude of building in public and things like that. Seems like that's been kind of a priority with the incubator, or maybe that's just nature of what we're doing, where it just is in public. I don't know if that's why it's a byproduct. And so I just thought that we're seeing kind of a demarcation of attitudes there.
One interesting thing is, and I probably should have figured it was going to be the case, but it is interesting being in the situation where there's things that, and you guys probably know as TGID, sometimes there's just stuff you can't say or talk about based
Sure.
on maybe something you signed or whatever. And it's very interesting being in these shoes because people will hit me up with a question or hit me up with a criticism, and I might have my own ideas.
No
but at the end
comment.
of- yeah, at the end of
And
the
you're
day,
like,
there's only
can't
so
say
much I
that.
can do.
Yeah.
So it's very unique and interesting being in
In the
these-
fold.
yeah, it is very interesting. But yeah, I don't envy founders, let me put it that way. And this has given me just a snippet. So get ready, Tony. I'm ready for what you're cooking.
Tony,
I
you
want
said
all
you
the
were going to
smoke.
have 23 grams of carbohydrates. How dare you?
Yeah.
Are you getting like actual testing, breakdown of all of the things in your product to put on the labels and stuff? Is that in your?
So again, like the cottage food business is pretty chill about it. But yeah, I will have to like get this things tested for like, you know, calorie and all that stuff.
Flying and chill, gluten free.
It's actually not that hard to put something in a calorimeter for what it's worth. That's pretty easy to determine.
What's the floor price on those things though?
Dude, you just go to your local community college, dude. They'll fucking love that shit. Like,
Really?
oh yeah. Well, they have calorimeters, and yeah, I'm sure a local science professor would help you out.
That's a good look.
Yeah, grind it up, break it down, burn it up.
Just set it
how
on
much the
fire.
thing
Easy
costs.
peasy. You can actually make a
Community-
calorimeter at home with a couple styrofoam cups.
Doubled up.
Community college for a community cottage. Let's go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah,
But seriously though, actually, like Tony, like, did you go to school? You're in Austin, right? Like, did you go
Yeah,
to
I'm in
school there?
Austin. I went to school in Washington D.C.
Washington D.C. Well, whatever, dude. Talk to Matthew McConaughey and get in with like what are their marketing programs and be like, listen, guys,
UT?
yeah, actually not the marketing program. Well, actually, get him with the marketing program and the like, I don't know, dietary, whatever. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying? Like,
Nutrition.
this is this is literally a capstone project. Like,
Yeah, no, this is the alpha. No, you get in with
like the business school.
you get in with the
Oh, yeah, I'm like,
entrepreneurs
all right.
club. You get in
Seriously,
with
no, honestly, swear to God, like, I mean, like, I have connections at Michigan State, so like, if you don't want it, but you're local down there, so it makes sense for those people to get involved. And like, why not why not leverage the college kids that are eager to one, get a good grade, and two, like, work the freaking stand for you. You know what I'm saying?
dude, go to the
You can
entrepreneurs
leverage a
club.
lot of
For
angles, is
extra
what I'm
credit.
saying.
Yeah, like for each weekend they go, they get extra credit.
Oh, you can have
That's
them write your whole business plan. Be like, hey, entrepreneurs club, like, hey, I got
Yeah,
this, gluten free.
no chat.
A contest. I'll give you $500 to the team that makes the best plan.
Yeah.
No, but honestly though, I'm seriously like, I am.
That's a good
truly
idea.
being serious, like, the IP here, right, would be an interesting leverage to a university.
Yep. No, 100%.
If I was in college right now and I knew an inkling about crypto, and I was into marketing and or dietitian, like the food science around, there's a lot of angles, is all I'm saying. If you have connections or like, I could try and find inroads in
Yeah.
Michigan State, but I think UT is local to where you're going to be, so like that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a big school. Like it's like definitely like a lot of people drive like burnt orange cars and shit because they love UT. But that's a good call out. I do want to, while he's here, Scripto is the architect of what we've all been talking about for a long time. What Dude Lifts coined as inked in, essentially. Scripto, do you want to give like the elevator pitch quickly of this thing? And then I think there's a lot of good people up here to give feedback.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear
Yes,
you.
sir.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So basically, it's like a whiteboard for doodlers to come in and see if they can work up a proposal or find people to work on that proposal. And it could even, a little evolution. You could have it as a regular in real life job board.
Ooh.
It's just a way to leverage the whole community.
Would this be
There's
similar
a
to something
lot of smarts.
like Upwork, kind of a similar vibe?
I don't know what that is, but yeah, sure. I don't know what Upwork is, but
Lives, what's Upwork?
It's essentially a job board. It has a similar aesthetic as like
Fiverr.
no, not Fiverr. Upwork looks a little more like it was a Notion page almost. Kind of got that modern aesthetic, but it's cool. It's got job board functionality. I came real close to just trying to get ChatGPT to copy it and see what I could come up with, but
So I guess like this thing that we've heard a lot of people talk about, is like the idea of like a creator profile where like, let's say you are like Alchemy Chains and you make jewelry, or let's say you're like Dude Lifts and you make athleisure clothing, or you're like Burry and you make golf clubs, whatever possible thing you could have. Is that included in this? Like, is each person have like a little profile, or?
I mean, I'm trying to start it a little simpler, just by keeping it at proposal level, where it's people have an ink, or they want to do an ink, and they just like for me, for example, like I have ideas, but they die with me because I have no team.
Okay.
Right.
I have no time to find a team either.
Okay.
I have 2 kids in a house renovation going on. I don't even have time for this. So I find,
So how do you source that team? Like, how do you slot those things?
This is it, where you kind of put like a almost like a little help wanted ad, or you have a list of spots you want to fill for your project.
and it's almost like a pre-ink because you wouldn't have written the ink yet. So
Correct, but it also branches out into people who already have an ink that was accepted.
maybe they
and
find they need some additional
they need
help.
more of a team. Exactly.
But 82, you had your hand raised?
Yeah, this is actually funny you bring this up, because this is something Mushy and I were actually talking about today. Because there's times where, like I, for instance, I might have a bunch of ideas, but I don't necessarily have the know-how to pull some of them off.
Mm-hmm.
So be able to collaborate with other holders in a way that lets people discover each other. That's something that we've talked about it. Honestly, the council has talked about it since the beginning of the incubator, at least behind the scenes.
Yeah, even if it's just informational, finding people is
exactly
gold.
Yeah, it basically, and it's probably going to start. I mean, there's criticisms for how the incubator looks right now and whatnot, the UX and all that. But hopefully we can build on top of it and improve it, and then hopefully we can get something put in place where we can connect holders and people who want to use the incubator. And if you have a phenomenal idea, get it so you can easily be in touch with someone who's maybe looking to help build a proposal, and maybe they don't have an idea, but they have the know-how, they have the whatever, they're an engineer, or they have product connections or whatnot.
Yeah, if they have
to
the
be
technicals.
able to quickly connect you guys in a way that doesn't spoil your idea and put it out there. So anyways, that's kind of one thing that we talked about it today. So
Do you think that the onus of that is on the council to do it, or could the community build that?
Yeah, that was another question of mine. Would it be like an in-house doodles sort of project, or would it be an outside independent project?
It's honestly, I don't even know if I have the answer for that right now. I don't think I would be opposed to either if I was on the council. If someone came out and submitted a proposal who is it like who's able to build it out for the community and whatnot, that's ultimately what I would love to see out of the incubator, is like just decentralize some of the building, right? There's a lot of stuff going on in-house at Doodles and all that stuff. And sometimes we have some very talented holders that we should maybe look to leverage. So like what I would say is, if this is something you're able to pull off, or something you want to pull off with the team, submit a proposal, right? Like it's funny because that's usually what my answer is to people, is like, if you want to see this, submit a proposal. And that doesn't mean it's going to pass. There's a lot of different checks and balances that happens, but
Did you guys fix
Yeah.
that editing capability?
it's being talked about. It's because nothing
You know what
more
sucks,
frustrating
dude?
than needing to resubmit all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I hear you.
Sometimes,
Speaking of UI UX and the incubator 82, I know sometimes you take some notes. I don't know if this has any value at all, but we were talking about being prompted to have the appropriate information in your proposal. And there's something I noticed when I was looking through that I think for some of the proposals, it is just like a text box. It's just like, hey, here you go. Like, this is the type. Here's the thing. You could potentially break those categories down, and then you could even reiterate some of the FAQ prompts above that, so people would understand what they're answering with different pieces, if that makes sense.
What we're looking for. Yeah, that's a good idea. And that's actually, so one thing, again, you're gonna think I'm just like making this all up, but that was being discussed yesterday, or no, maybe it was Friday, because it was over the weekend. But kind of how these
Funny enough,
'cause
we were
we're
just
not
thinking about that.
necessarily-
It's crazy.
Yeah, the proposed like submissions, I don't think the submission forms are perfect.
Sure.
So there's sometimes someone will answer a question and it's like, I don't think that's necessarily what we were looking for.
Right.
So yeah, whether it's an FAQ or maybe refining how those questions are asked and kind of the
what's
tree
the
that
tool
they go
called?
down.
Notion.
Yeah,
Yes.
right now it's all on Notion.
Notion
And
is
even that,
goated.
like even Notion, Notion's phenomenal. But I just really wish, I really want to improve the UX. Like if I could do one thing, if I'm not on council, I'm submitting a proposal to try to build out some of the UX.
I mean, what Notion's
to make it
essentially
just like a user.
Markdown.
Why
Right.
there's there need to be the proposal to build out an internal function? That seems dumb.
What do you mean?
You mean like a website?
You're gonna submit, if you're not on the
If-
council. You're
If
gonna
you had,
submit a proposal to fix the thing that the council was supposed to make. That seems weird.
then you'd get
Am I
paid to
hearing
do
that?
it.
Yeah, no, is what I
Well,
look
aren't you
at.
getting paid to do that right now? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be an act. Like, I mean, I'm just.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I'm
I
saying?
hear you.
Just hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you. What we were tasked with is basically get an MVP up, minimal viable product out to the holders so that we can start getting proposals going. And I believe that's kind of what has been established. Now, whether moving forward, like active conversations are going on how can we improve the UX, how can we improve the design, how can we, like everything. It's all being, this is my meetings with Mushy. This is what it's all about. And I'm sure other council members are having similar meetings.
Yeah, like
So-
the quote unquote back end, even though it has a front end, is built, and you could scale that up and up and up. I mean, it could be an app, someday or something, but the bones are there. It's operational. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. And if it's something where, like, I mean, from my perspective, Doodles has a lot going on their plate. And for the incubator, like the incubator would either have to go in-house, or, a holder submits a proposal that wants to build it out. And I don't know what the team would prefer. This is kind of me just thinking, like, those seem to be the two options. And if there is a holder that's able to build out a phenomenal UX experience for the incubator, I would say, why not? Why not have them submit a proposal and let them run with it?
Yeah, that's
Okay, so I have a few questions.
interesting. Go ahead.
Did you guys run through RFP processes for all of these tools that you guys decided to go with?
Did we run an RFP for Notion or what?
For Notion, whatever I mean, if I was gonna do this, right, I would be like, I don't even have to write the criteria. It would be like, I need something that allows you to write things and vote yes or no and create like paths of form creation, right? Like, is that like, I'm assuming there's multiple companies can do that. Like, why did you end up at Notion? Right. So like if I was
Yeah,
coming in
yeah.
to
No,
the
I see
council,
what
I would like to see like, who did you guys vet? Why did you guys go with these guys? And if this is what you set up, what are the capabilities of that company that we can further invest in to, like you said, level up the UI experience?
Yeah, I gotcha. So Ayal, he was the grants lead, or is the grants lead. He is the one who
They all
built
built
it
it out
all
of the
out,
kindness of his heart.
And one
Dude,
thing that I would
and I
say,
think I mad respect, dude. Mad respect.
one thing that I would say is that he's very knowledgeable on this type of stuff. He's very technical, like very
And he's a
technically
dev.
minded. Yeah, he's a developer. Like if there was someone to be able to set up an MVP like this, like I think it was Ayal. So he kind of owned it. He went and did research and kind of what are we needing? What functionality are we needing? And he weighed all the options. But he was also very clear that this is just an MVP. This is not final product. This is not like something that's gonna be the way it is forever. This is just to get this functional so the community can start using it, because there was a lot of excitement for the incubator. And now what's happening is the team is taking feedback from the council, kind of what worked well, what didn't work well about the structure and processes. And then they're looking at different options and whatnot, in-house, third party, all that stuff.
And I'm just playing devil's advocate to ask, right? Because I'm curious myself.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Well, and Burry, just to answer your question, they didn't like pay a bunch of money contracted to an outside organization for this product that's like quote unquote inferior. Like if that kind of answers.
Oh
your
no,
question.
not at all. I was just curious. Like if I was coming in, right, I would just be curious to know, like, what did you guys look at? And furthermore, like, okay, say like you guys inked a 3-year deal with these guys, or like whatever it is. I don't know, license wise, software, SaaS, whatever. But like, I would like to know.
Oh, Notion's like $20 a
How-
month.
Oh yeah, Notion is
Is
easy
it?
as shit.
Oh,
And
it's cheap.
Doodles
And I don't
uses
know shit about it,
Notion.
but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, I would just like to know how to take it to the next level, or like continue down the path.
The next
That's all I'm asking.
level is
Yeah, season
Incubator
2.
on chain integrated into the studio on Flow. That's the next level.
Dude, that's too
Sounds
deep,
like
bro.
4
This is
levels.
Inception, bro.
The studio will be
With
the home
badges.
base for all
With
things
badges,
Doodles.
Burry.
Badges.
Real.
I mean, it actually makes
Badges,
sense that
bro.
it
I'm
would.
back in. I'm actually back in.
It actually makes sense that it would end up in the studio. I would hope that all like
I didn't like them at first.
all interfacing with the brand should happen in the studio, or at least everything that's on chain. That's my impression. So why not the incubator?
What did I wait? I thought that was getting like pushed to the side, or was I mistaken?
No, brother. It's only begun.
It's oh my god.
God.
Badges are back on, Burry.
I'm back to back.
When is someone gonna make those enamel pins? I thought that was also a thing.
Dude, there's like I found
Whoever
like
Mushy got his
50,000
made by
enamel
were
pins.
nice. Mushies were nice.
Was it
Yeah.
wizard pins? They were a great pin.
I don't know,
I
but
think
you know,
actually good
I have
marketing
I have
on
one
the
of his
internet.
ducks.
They do. Yep.
Oh, Eiler, GM, how are you doing?
Yo, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yo.
Fantastic.
See you, 82.
Is anyone else looking at the 1 minute candles right now?
Are we winning or
Like,
losing?
actually, Eiler, Bitcoin's like at 35K. Let's go.
No
It's pretty
way,
nuts,
dude.
35K.
bro. This is the first time in a long time I've looked at the 1 minutes just to feel something, you know.
Just to feel something,
Yeah, but like, here's the question: are you going to actually do anything about it, or are you just?
Oh,
Shut
no.
up, Burry. We
You're
just
gonna
like
I'm gonna
the
I'm just
hodl.
asking, dude.
It's
I'm
It's,
just
called-
saying.
we're emotional
Dude,
holders.
Hold on for dear life.
ETH is up 10% now. It's like
Now, can I? I think the incubator just got a little chunkier today. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, the big
Chonk,
boy.
chonk.
we trying to throw a party?
Hey,
Yeah.
$40,000 crack party. Hey,
I mean, let's just say there's quite a bit of ETH in there, and ETH just kind of went on a run. And when
would be
I
a
did
great
some-
time to rotate some into stables.
I did some triangulating, and I thought, ooh, this is looking pretty good.
Good time to stake some ETH.
You know, I wish I would
rotating
have ran my
stables.
events when we were on the pump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the euphoria, it hits different. Now let's go for some financial advice.
Stupid.
What coins are we buying,
Don't
guys?
transact in fucking Ethereum when it's super volatile and you do everything in US dollars. That's the fucking financial.
Imagine I got
advice.
my ETH like 3 days ago at like 15. Holy crap. That'd be insane.
Dude, you're buying like
Call
yeah,
the
like
bonus.
wagyu for dinner.
Dude, this is all I'm saying. We are nowhere near bullish enough on ETH. Whatever you think you are, you're not. That's all I'm saying.
Actually, I heard a counter argument to be more bullish on BTC, to be honest. But
All right, Burry, laser eyes, get
Nah,
I'm
over
just
here.
saying,
nah,
dude.
nah. Ethereum will be the truth layer of existence, and that has infinite value.
Okay, so
Dude,
how
with a
much,
voiceover like that, I'm definitely buying.
Burry, how much did Ethereum go up today?
Dude, I don't know. I don't watch it like that, but I think it went up at least $200.
Okay, so 200 bonks.
Bonks.
What? How much Ethereum is in the incubator? Does anyone know?
Not
20
enough. to make a
29.40?
pound, dude.
Well, yeah, around there.
Plus a mysterious royalty fee.
all right. So 29.40.
Did you guys hear some wind?
Did you guys just do some of that quick math? Check out that incubator. Let's go.
You should
That's
do
an
that
extra. That's
retroactive
an extra
staking,
half a
man.
million.
It seems like
Today.
a perfect time to deploy a $500,000 proposal. It's like it never happened, you know?
Can I buy a
Nothing gained,
Lambo?
Nothing gained, nothing lost.
We could
mean,
buy a
like,
Lambo with
To be
that.
honest, though, like at least let's make a safe bet on our own fucking existence and put a quarter of it into a stake.
Mm-hmm.
Into a what?
Like stake it.
Staking?
Get
Yeah.
return. Yeah.
There's a proposal on there, isn't it? Inc. I'm trying to remember all
Yeah.
these things.
Hey, yeah. Nope's
70?
proposal just got a lot more reasonable. He wanted 4 million USD. That is less percentage of the incubator today. Bada bing, bada boom. Stake it in Lido, baby.
So, man, I just love watching these charts. It is nice. What do you watch them on, Eiler? That interface? What you?
Instagram.
And
Sorry,
keep in
what?
mind,
TikTok.
let's keep in mind, it's
What do I
only
watch what on?
it's only
Where are you
Monday.
watching the charts?
Oh, so I used to use CryptoWatch, and they got bought out by Kraken Pro.
Oh, Kraken Pro, Williams, F1 Racing, Thread Guy, Farouk. Sorry,
It's
I
pretty
just
good,
Twitter broke my
in my
mind.
opinion.
But
But I was inspired by this like board idea where you could basically offer up your skills to people who actually have proposals, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Because I I feel like I have some skills, but I don't really have any like meaningful proposal I really want to get out or anything, right?
Mhm.
That I can think of. But I can do like fabrication.
does that sound? Is
other
that you
things,
refreshing
I
the
don't
1
know.
second charts?
Yeah. No, I'm playing League.
Click, 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 click.
Playing League of Legends.
All right, SBF.
Wait,
He's like, I'm
uh,
trading, dude.
All right, SBF.
I got bored just sitting here.
wait, hang
so-
on. Eiler's watching 1 minute charts while playing League of Legends.
He
Bro,
is
you
Sam
know it.
Bankman
On
Fried.
his Spaces.
He is Sam Bankman Fried.
Sometimes
Have you heard of quantum
you
computing?
gotta
dude?
multitask.
Yeah, this is
There's
Sam
not enough
Bankman
time in
Fried's
the day.
alt.
Dude, I
Wait, yes,
fucking
I'm
worked on
actually
something fucking
what's his
Legends,
name?
dude.
You're actually
FBF guy.
SBF.
Yeah, SBF.
Yeah, we thought he
That's
was
me right
in
now.
jail.
Wait,
He's
didn't
like,
you
nah, I'm
guys
on
hear that
space.
that's-
And
did you hear
crypto's
SBF
pumping.
he couldn't testify because he didn't have enough Adderall in his system. Did you guys hear that, or is that a rumor?
Is this SBF or is this Eiler
Yeah.
right now? Because I think
No,
I'm
no,
popping some
SBF.
addies, not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, obviously he's quantum computing right now, but I'm talking about SBF.
Obviously. No, that's a good call out. Like either because something like we were talking about this 3D proposal earlier, you'd be the perfect person to team up with on that, you know, and do some prototyping and stuff like that. So that would be super cool. Nase?
He must be deep in
Sorry,
the
I'm
legends right now.
beating all of them right now.
Sorry,
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
I'm honing
Um,
these
yeah,
noobs.
But yeah, because I'd be interested. I was also considering maybe trying to figure out a way I could leverage, what is it like I really
Human
like
capacity?
machining,
Ooh,
so like I want to get like an actual CNC machine to do some stuff.
Have you ever
And-
used a CNC machine before?
Yes, I have. I've programmed them. I've used them.
What have you made with a CNC machine before?
I will say,
That used to be my job.
I know. Give me some examples.
No.
He's
I would not like to do that.
taking your inventory over here. Like, what kind of you done? Stainless steel? What kind of a 1/4-inch stock? What are we working with here?
I mean, kind of though, right? Like, isn't that what
No.
I understand?
8270.
Tyler,
Your idea of the Christmas village has sent me for the past like
Oh, like
few
a
days.
nativity?
Yeah, I've been thinking about all this stuff I could 3D print, like even the mic setup, like for a live stream. I was like, maybe I could reprint this like doodlefied, with some like accents, just start doodlefying everything.
If there was a Doodles Christmas Village, my bank account's not safe. I would get a phone call from my bank and I would say, look, crypto's pumping. Doodles are undervalued. I'm sweeping the Christmas Village.
Big
all right?
sir, did you spend $13,000 on a Doodles Christmas Village? Oh, and while we have it in the line, did you bring a American Zippo lighter over the border into Canada? Just figure we.
I plead the American fifth. Yo, Eiler, I got a question. Have you ever CNC'd while on Spaces, watching 1 Minute Candles, and playing League of Legends?
I'd like to try.
Godsend.
Dude, are you even a
I'd
DJ
love
if you
to
haven't done
try
all
it.
those things at once?
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It is Tony. It is 8:00, so I think we've been running this bad boy for about 2 hours. We probably should wind things down.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give a quick shout out. Ink 71 board surgeon. If you guys haven't seen it, is he based in Argentina?
Oh, I thought he's in the UK.
I'm not sure exactly where he is. Yeah, he's based in the UK, and he's a surgeon in the burn unit, and he's asking for money to make murals inside of a children's unit.
Very cool.
At the hospital. Ingy also shouted out to him in Think Tank and said, if it does get accepted, that he would connect him with local artists. I'm pretty bullish on that one. I've been wanting to see Doodles art proliferated more.
Yes.
I think that one's pretty dope, and I think it's like under 20K that he's asking for. So I mean,
like 22.5 or something like that.
Yeah, that one seems pretty reasonable.
I like that one a lot too. I saw 82. Did you have your hand raised? I know you're running this space on Thursday. Did you want to tell the audience a little bit about it?
Yeah. Well, we're having our meeting tomorrow, and I just wanted to like gauge you guys real quick. How do you guys feel about social good proposals?
Bullish.
Like thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah, if they're trusted people, I'm here for it, dude.
Yeah, I'd say generally thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay.
This one in particular, I'm like, it's interesting because BT has such a history of doing these like public murals. So I think it, in a way, fits too with the kind of brand, which I think is nice.
And how do you guys feel about the other one? I forget what ink it is, but it's in the 60s.
You're talking about David's from Ghana?
Yes, that's right.
I feel
I vote
really
yes,
good about it.
dude. In a non-voting capacity, I vote yes.
He's real deal. I met him. Like we hung out on the boat,
Dude,
and like
he's the
we're really
man, dude.
connected. He's
He's the fucking man. I met
super
him too,
good
and
people.
I trust that guy, dude. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Because we'll be discussing these proposals tomorrow, and social good is something that we haven't necessarily.
I publicly vouch for David, dude.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
We haven't really done social good through the Doodle Bank or incubator. So this is maybe like new territory, but I know Poopy has expressed interest in it. I think it was Poopy.
Yeah, that was back in the day for sure.
Yeah, and I personally am like interested in it. I think paying it forward is always a good thing to do. So, anyways,
dude, we just pumped 500K today. Like, there's some room for some social good in that.
Yeah. Let's share the wealth. You know what I mean?
Dude, ink it.
All right,
Or-
everybody.
And we're still at sub 2K ETH. So and also I just wanted to say I think Shecky Lin from Dubro put in like the cheapest event proposal I've ever seen is $500. Like,
Oh, send it easy.
dude, let
Let it
Shecky
rip.
do that.
Actually, give him double it.
I was gonna say
Double
give
it.
him a rack. Just be
No,
like,
yeah,
dude, don't
yeah,
spend it
definitely
everywhere.
double it. 100%. Honestly, I swear to God.
Keep
Well,
that's
doubling,
pretty
keep
awesome.
doubling and
As
doubling.
someone that's like bare bones it to try to get it one proof, like give him more money because he's gonna want to be able to spice it up a little bit. That's all I'm saying. For talking about $500, dude. Come on.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Come on.
I don't know. We didn't have a big pump today though, so I don't know.
Being a little
He's gonna-
generous.
Like, we're-
chair, dude. You're a
All right, we're
stinky
pulling this one back
chair.
from the dead. It says it's in review. All right, let's give him a call. All right, guys. Like they're like, all right, let's group call him.
Oh my gosh, so funny. So funny.
Oh, sorry guys, Ethereum dropped 10% today. We all have to give you guys a 10% pay cut.
Oh my gosh.
And you go.
But yeah, like you said, Lifts. Thanks everybody for coming through to Ink Tank episode 13. We're gonna be here same time, same place next week for number 14. And if you haven't seen it yet, 82, the council chair and our Doodle Watch tree are going to be hosting a space Thursday evening. If you're North America bound, I just pinned it up to the top. So make sure that you don't miss out on that one. It's going to be good. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Wait, do the thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Think
do it.
not of what doodles can do for you, but what can you do for doodles?
Dang, I love it, dude.